Welcome one and all to another TTFL. So that's the TeaTime Friday League racing tonight. So as you can see, we are in Q1. It is all 15 drivers. 15 drivers are going to go through. With Frenzy retiring, it means every driver will go through unless DXC Anthony doesn't put in a lap. Then we could be saying goodbye to two. So we do have a couple of drivers missing today, but we also have some a new driver in the mist. We have RRL LH44 now. LH44 is a driver I've commentated on a couple of occasions, and he has been an epic driver at times. And that's because he is starting his out lap now, his fast lap now. Absolutely fantastic driver. We should be seeing him up there battling with non-human. So a lot of drivers going out on intermediates, just basically getting the feel for the track really on those intermediates, saving compounds as and when they can. So what I do, styling or driving that we do have from LH, he is quite a precision driver. He does hit a lot of the apex. He's missed the apex on there. But I'm gonna, when we get up to Q2, we will do a full lap with LH to give you guys a little insight into our new driver. So we've got Kyra in the chat saying, "Yo, bro, LH44 is now racing in DXT. Have a good one, bro." Well, thank you very much, Kyra, for jumping in and letting give us a heads up about that as well. Yeah, I'm really happy to have LH on board with us, as he just put a lap time of a 1:22.2 and his thing with a 1:11.4. So absolutely outstanding. The rules over in RRL are very similar to what we have at TTFL, and I think that there is a different level of standards when it means coming over to TTFL. LH will not have it easy. We will be expecting them to be quick. We will expect him to be up there, but he won't be running away with it like he did at RRL. And over in T2, they've got wet qualifying, dry race. So, you've got to compromise your qualifying setup for a dry race. You've got to basically settle for the race when you go to qualifying. So that'll be quite interesting to see how those drivers do. Zandvoort is a difficult circuit, and it does prove it with the level of corners that you have to deal with. So yeah, so LH is going to pit us. So we've got non-human. Now non-human is going to be another driver who's going to be up there with LH. Again, a driver that we've seen a lot of, and one I do expect to be out there hot tailing it. And then comes non-human. Let's have a look. Have we got anybody who's on a fast lap? DXC Matty on a fast lap right now. Let's see how he does. All these drivers on intermediates right now. It's quite nice to have these drivers on the intermediates, give it a go. Let's see how they do. Let's see if Matty can improve on his time. I know he's coming into the pits. Again, another driver on the pit. So we've got SFR Martin, another new driver to us. So we should be seeing a lot from him. And if anybody is interested, the Miami Grand Prix free practice one is still going, and we do have an interesting point there, because it seems that the Mercedes have found a bit more pace. Seems to be catching up a bit, but we'll see. Now, let's enjoy a lap with SFR Martin. As we see that he is, this is his third race with us, and I should be expecting another point scoring performance from this gentleman. I really do think he is worthy of racing within TTFL Tier 1. And then we'll do a lap rundown of the corners and how they should be taken. Because this circuit is very, very interesting when it comes down to the actual circuit. Right, so let's have a look. But Right. Here we go. So, a lot of the drivers have retired from the session. So it is looking quite decent for a good. We're going to have a good Q1. So, oh, I said Q1. Sorry, we're going to have a good Q2. Should be mixed with abilities. You can see at the moment we're on board with Sponicus. Sponicus taking it easy. It is about getting the feel for the circuit, finding that right line. And as you can see, there's a very, very strange line, double line that just popped up. That does give drivers a bit of a confusing moment, and we should be seeing a clear track really throughout. So it should be an interesting one for us. So Schoenicke's out there at the moment on his on a lap as he coming in. Because SFR Martin is in. No, he is going out. So here we go, into turn 1 now, right? Let's see what line he takes. So he takes the middle line, no closing off the apex, just near enough closing at the end. Smooth commands, hugs that left curb, comes across, doesn't kiss that curb. How much far he is in. He's taking the inside line into turn 3 there. And it's a rolling move up to coming up to Shiviak, sorry. It's kind of off the gas there. So this is coasting really. You want to use as much track as you can through these corners. A late apex here will line you up ready for this corner here, which you need to use as much track as you can, because it brings you onto the DRS and you want to have the maximum speed you can on the exit. And it is a rolling exit, so it's not quite onto a straight, it's actually onto a bend, so it's a bit more difficult really to judge that ideally around the LDS. And this is where you can make up the most time. And I think we've just had a little bit of a crash. It's Dutchy to make Dutch face slowing right down as Schoenicke dives in. Fake speed is going into the pits. I do apologise, guys. That was a little impromptu call from someone. We've got Big Salty Seawater in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Big Salty Seawater. What's your exact takeaway order? Is the question again. Loving these questions that Big Salty Seawater comes up. Very random, very different. Right, so I get a pizza, meat feast pizza, 10 or 12 inch, depending on who I'm with. A chicken burger, and get my lad some chips, and he rubs a bit of pizza, a bit of burger, and he's happy. So that is the order that we tend to go with, and then anybody else is eating, they tend to go for kebabs. So that is my takeaway order. Obviously, any sides or anything, I just sometimes change the size. So popcorn chicken, chicken strips may be added, that kind of thing. But nice question. We're just waiting for the last few drivers to come in or retire from the session. What was your favourite era of F1? Turbo era. It was absolutely brilliant. The sound, everything was amazing. But if I had to go to a single year, between 2009, Braun, GP, the Cinderella story, just magical. So that again, I love the topical question there. Big Salty Seawater. Actually, quite interesting to find out which one's your favourite era. So drop that in as well. So obviously, for anybody who's not really knowing about the eras are named after the significant change to the cars, basically. So you got the aerodynamic eras, which is like you got wing era, and then you've got the ground effect era. You also have the era of the radical era, which was in the 70s, such as the six-wheel turbo and all that. You also have like the hybrid era, which we just came out of. We're now into the I can't remember. It's something to do. I think it's the streamline era. Is what they're calling it. Or it's the drag effect, clean air era, which will have a proper official name very soon, I'm sure of. Then you've got the turbo era and the V10 era are two of the best eras ever. Turbo era being before the V10 era, and turbo era was when the regulations started to get a bit more strict about the number of wheels. So we are finished Q1, everyone was pretty much through. So Big Salty Seawater's favourite is actually the V12, maybe. He said he hasn't watched a lot of historic races, which is fair enough. A lot of fans don't go back to see some of it, but I do suggest checking out some drivers if you haven't. So you got obviously Nicky Lauda, James Hunt battle. Everybody should watch the highlights from the G76 Grand Prix. It's a big game changer. Jackie Stewart's a very good racer to follow. Is past Jochen Rindt, another great driver. Graham Hill is one of those. He was the gentleman driver, Mr. Monaco. Everybody's got fastest on Inters, lol. Well, actually, technically it wasn't, because LH was actually faster than you on Inters, and then he changed over to softs. So he technically wasn't fastest on Inters, Hobo. So don't lie. Don't try and pick yourself up. If you could bring back 3 F1 tracks that aren't used anymore, what would they be? That's another great question. Right. F1 tracks. Gonna have a little think about that. So, what I'm gonna do. Who's our first driver out? It usually is. Oh, it is Lewis the Beaker, Big Salty Seawater himself. So I'm gonna jump on board of him. Take off the. We'll leave the map on. because we will be doing a lap rundown with him, and then I'll answer that question. So a lot of the corners in Zandvoort tends to have the word bocht afterwards. Even though I probably am butchering the word, which just means corner or turn. It also means bad wine, because it's turned. So yeah, multiple use for the name. As I do head round the last corner, and here we go. So I'm going down the street, which is actually called Tunnel West. But not too sure why. I think it's due to because there is a tunnel into Tarzan Bocht. Now Tarzan has got multiple stories, and I'll go through them later, and probably boot into Crofty. As we get into Gelacht Bocht, Gelacht is actually named after a previous member of the team here. And then we've got Hagen Hood Bocht, which is turn 3, the sharp corner, which then leads into Herzerung and Robert Schlossmacher. Heading up into Schieblack. Now Schieblack, sorry, is this corner here. A lot of drivers do go off here into Marlborough. Marlborough follows into Renault. Renault, this sharp right hander here. That leads into Vodafone. Vodafone opens out into DRS. The corner actually technically doesn't stop until it gets right down to the LDS. But people call it a straight for some reason. Now this is the LDS. The LDS is a corner that a lot of people do make mistakes on. They do tend to have hit it wrong. Now this is a little short straight into Kumho Bocht. Another bizarre name into the Ari Lugendijk Bocht. And that leads back onto Tunnel West, and we do get a time of Lusavica with a 1:11.3, which is a very respectable time. And this opens up the time where people start thinking about the tyre strategy. So mediums for a lot of drivers at the moment. So Lusavic will get himself right out the way as other drivers do come along. He's going to have to make himself shifted a little bit as the quicker drivers come down. And we've got SRFR Martin, who's done a 1:11.2 on the mediums. And that's a very, very good time indeed. Non-human with 1:10.6. The drivers I'm going to be keeping an eye on right now is drivers such as LH44. I will be following him a bit later. But that'll be quite interesting. So we've got Jerry Ducoka, who's getting pole. And WTF, how do you know this stuff? Well, this is why I get called an F1 guru. I do know a lot about the tracks and circuits. So it's really tough. I'm actually throwing it up into the air because Fighting Albot and Non-Human have shown their pace, but we've got Sting is starting to get back into his groove, and then with LH with 1:25.0. I really do not think he's actually anywhere near his best time on these mediums. I think he's lacked off a little bit, and he's going to again very, very twitchy a little bit at times, but he keeps that car at the peak of its game, of its ability. He pushes it to the very limits, and we do like to see that. And Hobart's crashed out, or is he retired? I'm not too sure, but 1:12.5 is actually quite a decent time for Hobart. It does mean that you could qualify P10 and go through. No, he won't go through to the next round. It just means there's only 9 drivers if no one beats 1:12.5. So Hobart has crashed. Who's getting pole? Right, you know what? I have no clue. I really don't. So the difference on this circuit between the softs and the mediums is roughly about 0.6 of a second. And that's not a lot of time, but it makes a massive difference on this circuit, because every tenth counts. The corners are easy to make mistakes on. You can hook up a perfect lap and make one mistake on one corner, and it will bring you right down by a second, really, by making that one little mistake, because one set of corner leads on to the next. So making a mistake it can have a knock-on effect. So it's quite good the way the drivers do push themselves to that limit where they are able to make mistakes, or are able to get the best that they can do, and that's what we want to see. Who's going to get pole? But tell you what, I've got a feeling that LH is going to get pole on his first race, on his debut race with TTFL. I think LH could pinch that pole position. Now we're going to go back to Big Salty Sea Water's question of if I could bring back 3 F1 tracks that aren't used anymore, what would they be? First of all, Malaysia. Malaysia is one of those circuits. It's a Hermantilk early stage. So with Hermantilk, I hate his new stuff because he's just taking elements that worked well in the past and stick them together. So you're looking at Bahrain, great circuit, early one for Hermantilk. Malaysia, early circuit again. But they threw them all together and made a late circuit like the USA, and that's horrendous. And if you look at it, it is different corners that he's taken from other circuits. So Malaysia, bang, number 1. Let's think. Right. Hockenheimring. I know the F1 don't use it because it's too expensive, but I think the German Grand Prix is needed in F1, whether it's the Hockenheimring or it's Nürburgring. I'm not talking about the Nordschleife, I'm talking about the actual GP circuit. It worked really well, but that came before in Sector 3. Doesn't work well with the F1 cars. But then taking that out makes the circuit too easy, apart from Sector 1, which is very quite technical. So I don't want to see them in Nürburgring. I do want to see them back at Hockenheim. So that's another fantastic circuit to put on it. Now we've got to think of the last one, and this is the tough one, the third circuit. It is really, really difficult because I'm trying to think of circuits that are no longer there, that should be there, and it's... No, I can't move it to South Africa. No, because it wasn't that great. We do need to race in other continents if we can. Let's have a think. I would love to see a Danish Grand Prix. But we got the Wacken Glen, and Wacken Glen is a fantastic circuit for the old era. And if F1 do stick to the plan where they're going to try to make the cars smaller to give more track space for overtaking cars, then Wacken Glen could actually come back into a Category 1. But it's like, I'd want to see Mugello. I think Mugello's a fantastic circuit, and I think it should be used more and more. So I'm going to put Mugello, even though we didn't use it last season for, last season, the COVID season, so I say. It's one of those ones that it should be in. It's tough to overtake, but it's great battling. Another one that we should get into. So there's my 3: Malaysia, Hockenheimring, and Mugello. So I was actually going to open this up to everybody. Just drop in and tell me what circuits you would love to see back in the F1 calendar, and I'll tell you the reason why it's not as well if it questions you. What is the best looking car of all time, any era, any team? Ferrari F1 2000 was a fantastic, beautiful car. I hated the team. I loved the McLaren 2010, and I loved the Braun 2009. But best looking car of all time, the Ferrari from 1976 was beautiful. Yeah. That's such a tough question, man. You know, that's the toughest question you've ever asked me. You're such a douche for that one. Such a douche. Right, so here we go. Let's get back onto it. So we're going to the end of Q2. We've got non-humans sitting there at 110.6 with soft tyres. In fact, we now bought with 110.7 on soft tyres. I don't think that is soft tyres. I think that's mediums. So mediums on mediums. Again, what a time to get. Now this is going to make a huge battle because I'm gonna pull up a point in Q3, and it needs to be addressed. When it comes down to making your circuit plans, making your pit strategies, your tyre strategy, whatever you want to call it, your race plan, you've got to really think about what you're doing in Q2. Now, regardless whether you're competing for top pole position or a top 5 position at least, your approach to Q2 needs to reflect on how you're going to start that race. Now, we can see a few drivers there with the soft tyres and a lot of drivers with the medium tyres. So I'm on board with FR Martin, who's on 111.2. Not comfortably in the top 10 because he's only 4 tenths above, and he hasn't invalidated that lap, but he went wide there. Bringing up a yellow flag due to going off circuit, but that's alright, it's all sorted. He's coming back into the pits. Fight Me Albot is retired from the session. I think Flea's just had no, it wasn't Flea. Scotty Harris had a little bit of a moment where he slowed down, so I thought that might have been a bit of crash. Stuart Wise, hybrid or V10 engine. V10 sounds amazing. The hybrids are great for the sport. Hybrid engines gives the sport that little safety blanket really for when it comes down to the global warming restrictions that motorsport is starting to have pressed onto them, not by the FIA but actually by the UN. So the UN are putting pressure on the FIA to start bringing in these motorsport teams, motorsport competitions, and say you've got to be greener. So the hybrid's fantastic for that, for the development. But if I had to pick an era that I want to sit and watch over and over, it'd be the V10. Beautiful sound. That sound that you go, don't get it with the hybrid. You don't get it. It just doesn't work. You don't hear it from the other side of the track, not like you do with the V10s. Now, Big Salt is here. How did you get into motorsport / F1? So that's another good question. So I kind of watched F1 growing up a little bit. I was the only one who liked, who was passionate about cars when I was young. So that was my little thing that I was watching it. Biggest moment when I got into F1 was 2009 when I was so interested about what was going on with Braun, because Honda pulling out was a big thing. Because Jenson Button was my favourite driver at the time because I wanted him to do so well. So then I was quite interested in what happened with Braun, and then it came to this magical fairy tale, and it was wow, never to be, and it will never happen again. I'm coming to you, no way on earth. Is a team going to go, right, you know, we're going to pull out, we can't carry on, and then someone comes in and makes it the best car on the circuit by miles? It's not going to happen. But motorsport itself, I actually got into motorsport properly when I was in the army. Oh, there we go, we got a slide. DXT Anthony just giving a bit of a show moment. Backed up quite a bit because there was a car coming. Absolutely fantastic, very, very fair play there from DXT Anthony. It doesn't mean he's actually now eliminated from Q2, so he will not be going to join us in Q3. But yeah, I kind of got into motorsport when I was starting racing cars for the army racing team, drive around some of the best circuits in the world. Well, best circuits in Europe. I never got to travel the world, just Europe, racing, different types of races. Yeah, in 2009, fully got into F1. Started following it since then, really, properly. So that's my F1 tale. But it's a very good. I can go into a bit more in depth, but I'm going to have to round up this Q2 session. The Q2 shows that non-human stuck on soft tyres at the top of Singh, Dixie, Matty, Lewis DeBeeker, and Speedy all starting on softs. In fact, we now got Freedom, LH, Martin, Shonicus, all going across to Q3, but starting on medium tyres. So tyre strategy choices will be going to Dutch Dutch Race, Lee, Scotty Harris, DXT Anthony, and DXT Hover. Now, unfortunately for Hover, that crash, he could have easily battled for a top 10 position. He would have to take a whole second off the time that he got originally, but I think he would have built into that. Did you play any other sports? I am actually a very, very highly accomplished field hockey keeper. I do play ice hockey in goal. From time to time, I play rugby. I play football. The simple sports that everybody partakes when they were in the army. But yeah, I'm quite sporty as much as I can be. But yeah. So yeah, I've travelled the world playing hockey, so that was my big thing. So here we are. We got as I said, non-human at top. Fight Me Albot, Freedom, Sting, Dixie Massey, LH44, Martin, Lewis Beaker, Shonicus, Speedy, all going into Q3. We're going to say goodbye to Touch McDosh, Fleet, Scotty Harris, DXT Anthony, and DXT Hobo. That's unfortunate. We do have. Well, less than 8/10 between first and 10th. And that is basically the difference between softs and mediums, really. All difference of one corner, which is usually the LDS. You should see it on my screen now. The LDS, it's a shot right-hander followed by a rotating hairpin. That there just means that you've got to try and get, when you cut in on that first corner, you've got to try and drag yourself away from hitting the outside, not using the full width of the track, to get yourself a later apex than what you should, would naturally get. You want to try and push yourself around a little bit further, just slow entry, fast exit, that kind of thing, and that's what we want to see. So non-human is our first drive around. So this is going to be the one we're going to be interested in. This is the question that I do believe that's Freedom is here, ex-jam DQ, however you say it. So that's who's going to get pole, and it is basically between every single one of those drivers. Every single one of those drivers, maybe apart from DXT Sausage over here. Don't think he's got the legs to get pole, but I can see absolutely anybody get a pole. So I want to see Freedom and Non-Human have another on-track battle. The McClay brothers. Now, if this was real F1, Non-Human would not be sitting in the AlphaTauri. He would be moved up to the Red Bull team and probably be sent down to the baby sister team. But that's not the way we do it here in TTFL. We don't follow the politics of the race of world life racing. So here we go. I'm going to stay on board with Non-Human, who is a potential P1 candidate as a guy. You want to stay off that cable on the inside. It is a triple layer line corner as we go. Let's see, switch around. Does he go? He's gone medium. So there's a nice line. You're using a bit of the bank, but you're keeping the tighter angle. It's good for defensive line. That is nicely smooth all the way through up into Shiviak. The Shiviak here, you've got to kind of like brush that curve, not touch it. And he's backed off. He's definitely backed off there because A bit of oversteer and he's dropped it, which is absolutely fine. He's got another car in front of him. He could use them as a option to and he's non-human is going to allow Freedom to go through. Now let's see how Freedom does. It's like Freedom switching is. See, this is where people make the mistake. You want to stay off that curb, and you want to follow it round and then touch it at the end. Just give yourself that little bit more of a straighter line at the exit to get yourself up speed. Round this final corner, you can take a little higher line and using the banking to really pull the car around. And Freedom puts a 110.6, which is very respectable on these soft tyres. Now every driver should be on soft tyres. Now let's have a look. We've got Dave Matty, and it won't be negative. So non-human's on a 127.1, and we know that's slow for him. Matthew 111.6. He did better before. He did better in Q2. Fight Me Albot takes pole with a 110.3. Now, Fight Me Albot on the mediums did a 110.6/7 in that region. Now that there shows that he should be getting a 110 dead. He should be hitting that very low 110. He's lost 2 temps quite easily. Shaunicus again, another driver that's lost a bit of time there. Not too sure why, but we have to see what he can pull out. So we've got Dixon Massey. Is he going for another go? Now we all know non-human's got to go for another go. Let's see. But I went a little bit wide there and got on the entry to that last corner there. He just got through, but he's invalidated his lap there, which was unfortunate for him. So into the pits, and that there, we don't want to be seeing that, guys. We do not want to be seeing people racing in and the auto stop bringing it back to a halt. We don't want to see that. So we've got Speedy now, so Speedy needs to put in a good lap. LH44, the 110.5. Don't believe that is his best, I really don't. I do believe he can get quicker than that, and I am waiting for that to happen, because we're going to have a 7-car battle for P1 in come the end of the race. I say 7 because realistically we're looking at 10 drivers here, Speedy being the extra one on there. I don't mean to be harsh, but Speedy has a showing pace, but he's not managed to break into the top 3 on a consistent level. So I'm kind of like ruling him out. If he wins, and I'll eat my own hair. I'll tell you that. I'll eat my own hair. I'll record it and everything. I'll cut my hair and eat it. If he wins this race. But realistically, I won't be backing him for this. Guy, a great guy. God, I can't tell you. He's a clean driver. He is quick. But he's not non-human quick, which is what we're looking at, what we're kind of going to be gauging. Now, we will be jumping on board with non-human in a moment. We've got Lewis Tabika. Now, Lewis Tabika is a driver that I've got quite a lot of respect for this guy. He does keep going and going. Even when he has a bad race, he keeps on going. Let's have a look. Let's do a whole lap with Lewis Tabika. Now, into turn 1, here we go. It's Tarzan. A corner that's caused arguments throughout the F1 and motorsport world. It has caused arguments. Here we go. That's a very good turn into there. So this, the S-bends up here. That's leads away. Absolutely fantastic motion into Shubiak. And this Shubiak, again, it's just corner. It's very easy to invalidate on, but nicely done here by Lewis. Cut the corner curb. Didn't disturb his motion as it took a little bit more speed off than he needed to in Renault, and now into Vodafone. Quarter used a bit more speed on the exit, so I'm guessing 2-3 times off. not a bad line through LDS. Not the optimum line, but it is the line that a lot of these drivers are taking. Around the final corner, let's see how he does. So he's got a 110.8. Now, if we take off the mistakes that he made, which are minor mistakes, he would be competing for P1, P2. And that's fair. That's a fair assessment of his ability. It's not a bad time. All these times are showing that, apart from the bottom three at the moment, all these times are shown to be quicker than the average Q2 top 10. So we are looking at a very capable and possibly competitive Zandvoort Grand Prix. And Zandvoort is one of those circuits. It's a lot of laps. I believe it's 36. It's 36 or 33. It's sort of on those lines. We're going to be seeing a huge battle between some of these drivers. There we go. We've got Freedom now. Freedom. Off the away from the curb. It's not bad. So let's talk Tarzan. Now there is 3 stories that have come out. We got the story that is the general story that is believed, which is actually the most likely one of the 3, and it is basically that when making a circuit, the king of Netherlands, we had to acquire the ground, which was actually mostly allotments and little farmlands belonging to the local public, and it was quite easy to buy them off them, apart from this one guy who just refused to sell. And he went, look, we'll name it, we'll put it as turn 1, that area turn 1, and we'll name it after you. But they weren't going to name it after him. They're going to use his nickname that he got called Tarzan because of his build, his physique. As we do have a little bit of a car slow down to allow other cars past, which is great to see. I think that was speedy. But that is what we're looking at, really. It's that kind of level. With that, it shows that what kind of publicity they wanted for this circuit. It shows what kind of commitment they had. That they were willing to take turn 1 and give it to the name of Joe Blogs from local town, just so they can get it get it wrapped up. The other ones is oh my goodness, he's lost at Shiviak. Oh wow. Commentator's curse on board with him, and he crashes out. This is unfortunate, especially in the fact that he was on the fast lap, and that was actually the cut that LH just did is exactly what you kind of expect from that corner. Wow. So the second story about Tarzan is actually the roller that was used for that for the circuit was named Tarzan. A lot of back in the day, this is when Eddie Stobart carried it on with naming all their trucks. When vehicles were given names, it was basically so it was easy to highlight what vehicle people were going to be using. So they used to go, oh, you take Jane, you take Tarzan, you take Dorothy, that kind of thing. And that was the case with here. The other road roller called Tarzan, and they named it. They gave the corner after that road roller that actually created the circuit. That's the one I wanted to believe is true. The last one is because the person who created the circuit was a fan of Tarzan of the Apes and decided to just call the corner after that character, which is quite unrealistic. So yeah. And we've got a message for Hebo. Could you please check your Discord messages? Mrs. C. Moyland has requested you to read your Discord messages. As we are rounding up Q3, so non-human takes P1 at the moment. SFR Martin has that option. He's actually slowed down, he's lost a big chunk of wing. And we've got Speedy who's invalidated his lap. So non-human will be taking P1 with a 110.3. In fact, we now bought in P2 with 110.3. Just 2,000 between the top two drivers. Sting with a 110.4, Sonic's 110.4, LH on a 110.5. Now, when this game first came out, I was commentating on LH for a couple of races, and he did not have the pace that he had with the previous game, but it seems that he's up there now, because those top six drivers, 3 tenths. And I'm sure Freedom would have took more time off him. SFR Martin may have took more time off, but he got wing damage. So we're just waiting for these drivers to get back. So we have wrapped up a Q3. Now Q3 is a big one. Right, so that is the end of Q3 and the qualifying, and we'll be running it in we're going to be starting the race very shortly, and we should be hitting out. I do apologise for the pings in the background. So it's a bit cloudy. It's good a bit dull. Could be a bit of rain. Unlikely. I wish it was raining. It's so much better. We just had a quick question here going. If you could get back in time 10, 15 years, what would you tell your younger self? I would have told myself to pick a different... It was all 10, 15 years ago? I would have been in the army already by then. But I'm going to say, if I could tell myself anything in the past, I would have told myself to go in the army, but choose a different job. So, here we go. Running down 36 laps of Zandvoort. We've got non-human in P1. In fact, we now put P2, DXD Sting P3, Johnny's P4, LA's P5, Lewis the Beacon P6. We have Freedom in P7. His teammates, SFR Martin in P8. We've got DXD Martin in P9 and Speedy in P10. Dutch Him and Dutch Face in 11th. We've got Fleet in 12th. We've got Scotty Harris in 13th. DXD Anthony and DXD Hobo taking 14th and 15th. Frenzy taking his usual slot right near the back. And then Dara, who's a late entry, at the very back. Now, Dara himself, I wish he was here for qualifying, because I think he would have put a bit of a mix-up at the front there. A very capable, fast young driver. Let's just hope he keeps his cool, because he could really do well here. Now, I told myself to do a better job in the army. The job I took was great. It was fantastic while I was in, but it was useless when I come out. Not many jobs actually ask you to kill people and destroy their lives from the inside out. anymore. So yeah, it's quite tough to find a job that actually can use my skills. So we just see Dara's car spin out, which I do believe is under AI control as well. Great. Absolutely fantastic. So we are looking into having a good start to this Zandvoort Grand Prix. Oh. Oh, here we go. We haven't seen this thing. So it's 3, 4, 5 red lights. They're out. And it's away we go. So here we go with Non-Human taking over first. We've got Shonika's made a fantastic move up one place. And Sting looks like he's almost getting swallowed quicker than a Scouse girl swallowing her dinner. LH still into fifth and freedom, pushing his way up. Can he get past LH? I don't think we're going to have a moment where we can go, oh yeah, oh SFR Martin is out, so virtual safety car is out, and I think there might be contact between drivers because so virtual safety car means just everybody slows down to 60% of the natural pace, but SFR Martin been taken out very early, unfortunately. Which is kind of weird because what it really does is actually causes a bit of an off-paced moment because it's not like a normal safety car. Normal safety car, everybody bunches up and we're racing again. What happens is with a safety car, people tend to stretch out a bit because who's scared to get a time penalty for when the safety car gets released, virtual safety car gets released, you get a time penalty if you're a bit too quick. And it's temperamental, the timing, and people are scared, so the spaces get bigger and bigger. Tyre strategy's popped over soft to medium hard. It's actually quite possible. This is a good circuit on hard tyres. It's a very good circuit for hard tyres. I should be expecting drivers to do that, and that's one thing we haven't checked. So we do have Lewis Beak, who's on hard tyres now, he's after pitting. We have Frenzy on hards. Why is Dara on? Where's Dara? Dara is in 13. So Frenzy and Dara has actually made a few places. Dara's doing quite well. You got Cons going. Yo Cons. Thanks for joining us, bro. For all you people out there, it was Con's birthday yesterday, so if you do have a moment, just wish him happy belated birthday. It was Wednesday was his birthday, and it was Hobo's birthday yesterday. Or vice versa. I don't know. Either way, it was one of their birthdays yesterday, and the other's the day before. I do believe it was Con's first, and then it was Hobo. But I could be wrong. So here we go. We're looking at the moment. We've got LH who's up into fourth because things actually dropped down. Monica's up into third. So the top two hasn't changed places. There is a bit of a gap between Fatman Outbot and Non-Human, but we should expect that with those soft tyres. Now, the soft tyres are 0.6 faster than the mediums. So 0.2 is about right the time, but yeah, Fatman Outbot is clawing up back a little bit. There we go, Con's, so Con's birthday is on Star Wars Day, and Hobo's is the day after. So we've got virtual safety car because Daria has crashed out. where did he die? So he crashed out on that corner there behind us. I wonder what happened. What this just means is that no one really bunches up, it's just waiting for it to end and then we can go racing again. Yeah, it's a bit... I really don't like this this virtual safety car business in the game. It works great in real life because they're professional drivers and they're able to hold their gap and there's no timing problems. So safety car's been lifted and we're back racing again, and it's again we're looking at non-human and Fight Me Bot, which is our JP1P2. Oh, and there we go, Fight Me Bot. Now that there, take a breath. Fight Me Bot is out. Now the issue we have there is that Fight Me Bot decided to try and cut across while other drivers are driving. So that will be looked into by a non-human. Had a bit of a spin and lost a big chunk of wing. Non-human who was handling P1 very well, and he's struggling to keep that car on the track. Absolutely gutted. But it does mean Hobo up his weight. Non-human really needs, and DXC Anthony up there in 9th. So non-human's going to be slipping down. He's going to jump in the pits, get himself back using a fresh set of tyres, fresh wing, and hopefully battle his way back up, because he's got loads of beacon for company at the back. So Seanicus at the moment leading the way with LH right behind him. LH empties up the DRS. Don't think he's going to go in now. And he's closed up right up. So this is... So we had a fantastic battle building between Fight Me Bot and non-human. Now Fight Me Bot I've seen crash out quite a few times. Now what we just witnessed here, I just put into it myself. Is Seanicus take one line and LH take another line, and Seanicus opened up a bit of a gap, which means the line he took was better for him, and the line LH thought he took wasn't as great, which means that LH could now adopt Seanicus's line, and see if that will keep the space tighter, or maybe try a new line. So Collins has put Freedom P1, LH P2 in his prediction. You know what? That's actually quite a good prediction, because Freedom he's doing really well with those medium tyres. He should be up here with the top 3 as well. But Seanicus, here we go, and that was just launch round. That was some pace that LH had to take P1. Now, whether LH can really capitalise on this, his exit's compromised by his very tight entry into that corner. But you see, there's a gap built on the exit though. So Cairo's gone, let's go help LH. Now, Cairo known LH for years. We'll be backing him. I do think LH is a great driver, but I can't back any of these drivers that I put at the top, because every single one of them is a great driver, and I do think LH has now found drivers that could put him under pressure, that could be battle him. Freedom, another great driver that should be up there with them. Non-human needs to be up there. Sting, again, we need to see Sting back at his best, because I reckon if Sting is at his best, we could be seeing a monster battle between 5 or 6 cars at the top of the leaderboard constantly. We are missing Moylan, and Moylan we know is a great driver and he should be here racing with us, but unfortunately he's not able to. DXT Matty, I feel that DXT Matty is starting to get back into his rhythm. I can see him crawling back up closer and closer to these front runners, and he should be there. And Dutch Face, again, another driver that should be up there too. Can we see a resurgence of these past quick drivers? Because we've got DXT Anthony also needs to pull something else, because we should be seeing him up there. He's such a good driver, just unfortunately couldn't adapt to this game. And biggest surprise of all is that Hobo is still alive. Yeah, it's quite interesting to see how it all goes. Now, we have a safety car. Lewis the Beaker has lost it as Shiviak. Now, safety cars are out, which means time to rewind the clock and go back to what we've seen, what we used to see, which is facts with gas. So, right now, first of all, I just want to say thank you to every one of my subscribers. I've got 98 subscribers, 2 away from 100. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Get me over that 100 mark, and that'll be great. Every single one of you actually makes this worthwhile. And with the new game coming out, I've been thinking about that, and I'm looking to be handed over my mic to the next commentator. So we've got Big Stolty Z. What I said, I'm so sorry, man. Had no grip on hard, and just my left tires were on the curb. So yeah, he's Yes, Shiviak, it's a difficult corner. A lot of people crash out. It is like turn 5 at Hungary. So yeah, I was expecting it. So Ellie just stayed out on those medium tyres. I think he's expecting a better opportunity for those tyres. But these soft running tyre drivers should be popping into the pits. And they got speeds out on mediums. So is mediums the right call? But Frenzy's now up into 5th on those hard tyres, which means that Frenzy could push those as far as lap. Knowing that a lot of drivers got 9 laps, they can push it to lap 26 if possible, and go onto the soft tyres and really push it out. So that'd be quite interesting to see. As I have to go, I'll give you a question to part with. Who is your idol? Not just in motorsport, but in life. Ooh, yeah, right. See, I've got different idols for different things. Now, as a parent, I idolise my dad. My dad did absolutely everything for me. He's made me the person I am. He's made me the parent I am. I based my parenting on what he did. It was orientated around children. Fantastic role model in that way. Professionally, working wise, there was a Lieutenant Colonel Carmichael, absolute brilliant guy. Took after everybody, took care of everybody underneath him. Doesn't matter what rank, what ability you were at, he did his best for absolutely every single one of the soldiers that he took care of. So him, Lieutenant Colonel Carmichael.
what a guy. He's just an amazing guy. So there's my two idols. But thank you very much, Big Stock Seawater, for joining us. For the questions, I really do appreciate it. Guys, if you've got any questions, it doesn't matter if it's about motorsport or it's just me or just random questions, just fire away. I'm all up for it. I'm really happy to answer any questions for you. If it's about tracks, just let me ask about tracks. I know pretty much anything about everything when it comes down to F1. I can even tell you why the double diffuser was made illegal. I can also tell you why the F duct was made illegal. I can even tell you what the F duct was all about. A lot of things that people didn't realise and what it actually really did. So yeah, it was be quite interesting to see what questions you guys can come up with. And I just seen that the safety car there really just bounced up over the curb, and the safety car is in on this lap. So I jump all on board with Freedom. Freedom is a driver that could potentially take over the Schmolkers, but I want to see the release. The release could happen anywhere. Can happen any time. And Ellie actually caught Freedom napping underneath. Freedom was in a really good position, ready to line up and overtake on Schmolkers, but Ellie actually helped Schmolkers out on that one. Very good motion, very good release. Schmolkers reacted very well, but Freedom not as quick, but not too slow either. So it was quite interesting to see that. And as you can see, the two pairs are going as a little bit of a disruptive corner there for Freedom, as basically opens up a gap already of a 1.1. Very, very tight gap it was. Just opened up very quickly. But he is clawing it back a bit. Can he get himself back into the DRS zone? But he's not going to make DRS now. But Schmolkers is. Schmolkers is going to make DRS. But obviously, not after this lap. It will be after this lap. Be after the next lap. Here it goes. LH round 10-1. Now we got Scotty Harris on DXT Anthony. Scotty Harris does make the move happen. And there we have it. DXT Anthony dropping down again. I think Flea must have had a bit of an off because he's dropped down by 3.6 seconds, which is the biggest gap we've had so far after one lap. Oh, and here we go. We've just had a driver just diving off the circuit then. I think it might be Scotty Harris getting out of the way for these. As you can see, Schmolkers getting right out of the way. Bit of wing damage. Sitting down in the bottom. Unfortunately, I do apologise for going quiet for that moment there, guys. Just starting to came up. As we are hitting lap 14 of 36, still a long way to go on this race today. So Freedom now in P2 after Spartacus is off. Spartacus will need to pop into the pits. We should be seeing these higher end medium tyre runners looking to pit in a few laps time. We haven't hit the halfway mark. We're still we're 5 laps short of the halfway mark. But 4 laps short of the halfway mark. So we should be expecting big things from the race if we can. As at the moment, LH has opened up a huge gap. Would this have been my prediction for the race? Not really. But we have got drivers such as Non-Human, who is still in pit stop distance from LH. Now this could mean that we've been on the starting on the medium tyres. Is it a two-stop tyre strategy, or is it medium to hard? A bit difficult to work out, really. You've got to kind of balance it with what you can do on the tyres, really. Now, mediums are really good on the circuit. I mean, like top-notch tyres for the circuit, but it is one of those circuits that any tyre will do well if you know how to use it. Now, drivers such as Non-Human could pretty much take any tyre and race to the heart's content, and then you've got other drivers such as Dutch Face, who will take the medium tyres a bit further and a bit faster than most other drivers. So that's what you could be looking at, like the advantage thing on medium tyres. Really, when it comes down to some of between him and some of these drivers around him right now. But if you're stuck on hard tyres, I think drivers such as Dixie Matty could actually potentially do better due to his driving style. Because you need to keep your high heating ability going up. You need to really work hard with the hard tyres to get the heat in there and maintain the heat. So you've got to push a bit harder at times. You've got to throw it into corners, and that kind of suits the DXT Matty rather than DXT Sting. So the hard tyres might work for him, but we are racking up these laps right now. Scotty Harris has made the pass. And Herbert's losing it to Scotty Harris. Or is Scotty is one way or the other. These two are battling it out, Scotty Harris and Hobo. Could be seeing a very good battle, or whether it's just this is it now. Scotty Harris is in front, and he's going to keep it that way. But I can see that Flea has actually started closing down his gap since he switched over to the soft tyres. He is closing that gap down a little slowly. He's he was over 11 seconds behind, and now he's only 8.8. So he's got time to kill. As we do have a switch to Speedy. He's had enough. The 3 sausage has crashed, but he's not. He's facing the wrong way. And he's waited. He did the right thing and waited. I can't wonder why there's ghosting on. So we got 3 people jumping in the pit now. So Ellie just jumped in the pit. And as everything's shuffling around, so because of the safety car, everybody's jumping in the pit, and it's a 5-second penalty for Lee. Now, what has happened here is that we got some media. It's still got Dixie Matty basically saying who have taken the taking P1, P2 because they stayed out. So LH has got soft tyres. These soft tyres are not going to last at the end. So he is going to make a pit stop, but he'll be going on to another set of medium tyres, not another set of soft tyres. Freedom's on medium tyres, and we all seen that these medium tyres could go to the end from this point. Dutch races on soft tyres, non-human on mediums. So these medium tyre runners who have not put on, who's put on another set of tyres beforehand, are able to go to the end of this race. So we're not going to be seeing non-human pit unless there's another crash. Which means that LH has really got to push that gap open between himself and non-human if he wants to get that win over him, as well as Freedom. So it's going to be a really interesting race. Now, LH on his soft tyres, does he have it in him to get an 18-second gap? Or can he actually push those soft tyres to the end of the race? Because I reckon the soft tyres will do 12 laps without him really getting destroyed. Add on the 3 from the safety car and you're looking at 15 laps. But we've got 17 laps to work with. So I am going to expect it come lap 28. We're going to see LH dive in the pits for a fresh set of soft tyres. Because that would be the logical way forward. So right now we do have a couple of drivers who will likely to pit. So that's LH and Dutch Face. Could possibly see Matthews take pit as well. Quite shocked that they didn't go for go pitting for put another set of fresh mediums on, or are they going to pit later and go for a set of soft tyres? Knowing that the soft tyres can do 10 laps, as other drivers have shown, but theoretically can do 12. These medium drivers of Matty and Sting will be thinking about that next move. Do they battle out for it? Hopefully he's gone into the pits. Do they battle it hard and get themselves a bit of a gap and try and pit for the soft tyres, or do they just hang out there, hope for the best, hope that the 25 laps is that the car tyres can last the 25 laps required to get them to the end? Not likely, but possible. Well, very unlikely, should I say. But questions will be arising about when are they going to pit, or what compound are they going to pit onto if there's another safety car in a short space of time. I think LH would love another safety car in 8 laps time. We should be seeing the safety car coming in soon. Here we go, safety car is in on this lap. So, where do we start? You know, it's going to be free. I'm not going to watch the XC Massey Dixie thing. I am actually going to watch this front 3, really, from 4th place. So here we go. Waiting for Dixie Massey. When's he going to pull the trigger? And there we go, the trigger's been pulled. Dixie Matty does get a good launch. Freedom almost gets LH, but LH managed to hold on. And LH really caught up with Singh. Singh was not staying with Matty. It's going to be interesting. I can't take my eyes off the screen right now because LH is looking to try and get past Singh, and it's not easy to get past Singh at all, even if Singh's not as good as what he has been in the past. But there we go, we can see LH looking, he's looking. Matty's opened up a gap because Singh is battling LH. So this is working all into Matty's favour. If they keep battling like this, but LH is on those soft tires, he should be making that pass a little bit easier. If we go into the first of the overtaking opportunities, and I think he's holding off. Singh is not able to let it pass. This thing really holding them off. LA's looking for that opportunity, and it looks like Freedom had lost a bit of ground, but it's not going to make much of a difference because there's a lot going on in front of him. Will LH get past Singh? It looks like this is possible. And no, it's not going to happen. Was it? They're side by side into Tarzan. It's very great, very clean battling between the two drivers. It looked like Singh might have dropped out a little bit to allow LH to run that corner out, but it doesn't make any difference because LH is now up into P2. Singh P3, but Singh is not going to let this go without a battle. He's going to stay there with him. Let's jump on board with Singh as we see how he does it. Is he able to combat this? Is he able to get back? I'm sure he will be. I'm just quickly having a little scan out. We've got Non-Human who's currently sitting in 6th place, right behind Dutchy McDutchface. Now, Dutchy McDutchface on those soft tires should, and by rightly, should be battling it up with Freedom in front of him, but he is holding off Non-Human, who is astonishingly quick, no matter what tires you stick on him. So Non-Human really does need to make sure that LH does not get that breakaway past the XD Matty. Now LH is holding off. And here we go. He's on the outside. LH with the fastest lap of a 112.13. And he's up into P1. Now this is where we got to start watching and counting the laps. Now we can see he's half a second in front of Matty. Now that is going to go up and up. We can't deny that. It just means that we're going to have to watch it carefully and see how fast that goes up, because curb lap, please. Excuse me, LH will start to be thinking about pitting for a fresh set of soft tyres. Now that is where he will be sitting and where he'll be thinking. Now we've got to try and think about the next few drivers, because every single one of these drivers, apart from Herbo, maybe Scotty Harris, is capable of getting P1. Scotty Harris is a bit more capable than Herbo. Sean Nicholas can get P1. Dixie Anthony has proven in the past that he is a very quick driver. Speedy, possibly. I'll eat my hair if Speedy does win this race. Now this helicopter view is fantastic. Oh, and there's a spin. There's a Freedom spun. He's lost a big chunk of wing. And that's unfortunate, because that shows that is basically taking Freedom out of this battle. Oh, absolutely gutted for Freedom. Absolutely gutted. I kind of wish he didn't do that, but he throws on the soft tyres, and at this rate, he could possibly get those tyres all the way to the end. A little bit of nursing will be needed right near the end, but it is possible for that to happen. Now we've got on board with RRLLH44. Let's see what he can do. We'll go around, wait until he gets me the bit, and then we'll go through this whole lap, a racing lap with LH. Now we do have Dixie Matty, who's starting to lose ground to LH. LH is basically running away with it, and he needs to open this gap up a little bit more over the next 4 laps and hopefully get something where he can keep that lead. Because you've got Matty, Singh, Dutchy McDutchface and Non-Human all right behind him 2.2 here, 3 seconds yet is a bit of a gap, but not huge. As Singh is looking to get past Matty, and he makes it so fast. Yeah, it's very quick as Dutchman Dutchface closes up the gap as well, trying to see if he can poke his way through past the XT Massey on the older medium tyres. But these do need to get sorted too, so we could be seeing the top 4 drivers pitting again, which gives basically the run to non-human. Non-human just has to make sure he is in reach of every one of those drivers, unless they do decide, oh, we're going to stick it out. There's only 11 laps to go, but we can get there. It is possible. It is really is possible, as we can see that non-human is looking to get past Dutchy McDutchface well before the end of those soft tyres. Now those soft tyres are at the moment 6 laps old, and they will be getting to that stage where they're starting to lose their grip. It's easy to start to judge and go, oh yeah, we are. Seasons go, oh yeah, we're losing grip, we're losing time, but in comparison to the drivers around them, those medium tyres in front should be in a similar kind of state. They are ready to go. You can see the wear, you can actually hear the drivers having to lift off to get through those corners. Now, as you can see, in that moment, non-human does get past his teammates, whether that was team orders or it was just that Dave Matty went, too fast, go past, or battle me, bitch. And non-human has stepped up. Now, Freedom with a 112.1 takes the fastest lap. Now, non-human is going past, is he? Oh, it's side by side. Oh, a little touch there, not enough to actually cause any damage, but it's still side by side, and the outside run does give non-human the better pace, and both together go through the LDS, and it is just edged out by non-human. Little contact, but the contact was not enough to make any significant impact to the positions of the race. So here we go. We've got Dutchman Dutchface in 4th, who Dave Massey seems to be slipping further and further back after starting P1 at the end of the safety car. Now we've got Dutchman Dutchface in 4th, we've got non-human in 3rd. Now non-human is sitting there nicely, knowing he can get to the end of this race on those tyres. Stinger on 16 lap old medium tyres. Can they get to the end? Unlikely, but we are looking at LH. Now, LH on these soft tyres, I do not think these soft tyres will get to the end. Yes, we gave him 15 laps, but he needed 17 laps at the end of the... he needed 17 laps when he had them on, but he only had... We could only give him 15, given the 3 car as well as the 12 of capable life expectancy. Now, that's 15 laps, that's a generous portion really. A lot of drivers do not get 15 laps out of their car tyres. So because we are running and we are looking at we're on lap 28 of 36. So at the end of this lap there will be only 8 laps left to go. Now those 8 laps, would that go onto the current tyres life, or would that be going onto new tyres? That's what you're waiting to find out, because it's 3.2 seconds between LH and Singh. Is that 3.3 seconds now? Is that enough to give LH the confidence that he can stay out and carry on and push, or does he think, right, these tyres are a bit shocked, I really need them changed and I really need to give myself the best opportunity to get the best time, and he got to pit in? We'll find out either at the end of this lap or the end of the next lap, because we've got other drivers to have a look at. We've got Hobo is sitting in 11th. Hobo should have done better than this. All the drivers who have dropped out are all faster. Only one driver actually qualified below, or 2 drivers qualified below, I believe. I'll double check that later. So Hobo's now into P10. P10 points position for Hobo.
So we've got Scotty Harris, who is now sitting in P7. So Scotty Harris is doing a fantastic job here, and he really is pushing himself to catch up with Sponicus, who had a bit of an off. I mean, when I say a bit of an off, it was a point where he was stone cold dead last and very, very limited on what he had ability was. LH just retired in the pits. I believe he's just went, I can't compete for a win, I can't compete for points, and he's just backed off. I can understand that, and I think I respect the driver that can go, I don't want to be involved in any battles, I don't want to get in the way, I'm going to back up because I can't actually get any points whatsoever. Technically, he could get points because the driver's in front of him on, the friends, he's made a few mistakes. Herbert always makes mistakes, he's battling with Flea. So there are mistakes to happen. So LH right now is sitting there with 3.7 seconds gap behind him to the next driver. Non-human is slowly and surely closing in to the XD Sting. We've got 7 laps. I really think that the LH and Sting are going to be pushing themselves to the end on those tyres that they've got. LH really, really needs to nurse those tyres a bit more. He's got 5 seconds behind him to non-human. Only 3.6 to Sting. And I've got a feeling that those soft tyres were starting to hurt now. Can't see a degradation line clearly yet, but that degradation line will come quickly on these soft tyres. There'll be a few laps and they'll appear. So non-human is within a second of Singh. It does mean that he will get the RS, and within 2 laps he should be in a position to overtake. So the DRS is open and he is closing in, but not quick enough. Somehow Singh has managed to hold off that huge gap between them, which means that non-human has got to kind of stick it out and try again at some point. Just keep closing that gap, keep rolling it in. He's on fresher medium tyres. We've got 6 laps left to go, and it is all counting the laps now. We are counting the laps right down to the end. Absolutely outstanding performance that we've had from LH. Debut race, and he is leading the way. Is he got it in there to keep hold of P1? Can't Sting really cause an upset and hold off non-human? Non-human is in a better position now than he was in last lap. He is a lot closer, and I can see that time to LH is starting to fall. And here we go. Is non-human going to make the overtake done on this lap, or is it going to be one more lap? As I've recently thought, within 2 laps, this has been 1 lap, half a second away, and it seems that the gap's not dropping down quick enough. Non-human with a 1:12.0 really does take the fastest lap comfortably, and Shonicus gets up into 5th, taking DXD Matty, and DXD Matty is not going down. Oh, little touch, but Matty holding on well. He didn't go, he didn't spin, he is on those old medium tyres, and he's doing a fantastic job with them. So well done Shonicus for that, but a little contact there could have been disastrous for both drivers. Non-human now in a very good position, 0.3 seconds behind the XD Sting. Just really needs to suck that dirty air up and get himself closer, right up the rear of Sting if possible, to give him the best opportunity for an overtake, undertake, or whatever they want to take. DRS is up, and he just holds it off that 0.3, 0.4 seconds, and very close there, very, very close indeed from non-human, really tying it up. This could be the overtake, as it's 4.2 seconds. This battle has made non-human and Sting lose time to LH, as non-human does get past Sting. Does he keep hold of it? Sting going to switch back, not on. Now we're going to watch this. We've got 4 laps left to go between now and the end of the race, and there's 4.2 seconds between the top 2 drivers. I should be expecting that time to be dropping drastically, considering the fact that the non-human has tyres in better condition than what LH has got. A little twitchy there by LH, which will bring down that time a chunk. He's lost 3 tenths there on that one little mistake. Here we go. So it's gone down to 4 seconds. So I don't think, unless those tyres do drop off like something drastic in the next few laps, it's going to be unlucky non-human for that absolute stellar battle that he's had with all the drivers, really, to get himself back into that position after they're losing out a little. Oh, LA just made a mistake, which took like almost a whole second of time off for non-human. So it was 6 tenths he took off. So, but I think he managed to get a very good exit from that turn 3 and pushed it back up to 4 seconds. It's really, really tight. This is absolutely unbelievable. When it comes down to this, we're kind of going to hope that we're going to have this battle right to the end. A battle at the end, should I say. I would like to see it happen. Like non-human, LH has got to really be careful, because those tyres are probably screaming at him now. 15 lap old tyres, the same length of time that non-humans had those medium tyres, and we should be falling off the cliff right now, but for some reason LH has got them working hard. He's got them working really well. He's lost 5 tenths from the last lap, and that's kind of good. Because all it means is that he's just got to keep hold of that 5 tenths. He can lose 5 tenths every lap if he wants to, and he will comfortably win. So when he starts losing more time, that's when he's going to have an issue, and it's just nowhere near it right now. I don't think non-human has quite got this lap hooked up as what he should be having it. But then this is LH, and LH does deserve to win his debut race. We did have a conversation between the admins regarding the position of LH and whether he should be in P1, Tier 1 or Tier 2, and it shows that this is why he should be in Tier 1. Frenzy takes the fastest lap with a 1:12.034, very close indeed to the previous one, as it seems that we've got 2 laps left to go. 2 laps left to go. Oh no, this is the last lap. This is the last lap. So this is we will be seeing LH winning his first race unless he gets a puncher. Or makes a mistake. If he makes a mistake, that'll be unfortunate, because he's actually done fantastically well in this race today. A fantastic all-round performance from LH44. So Kieran absolutely doing a stellar job and taking his name really proudly as he rounds off the final few corners, almost loses it. And he wins the race. He wins non-human, followed by 6. So that's a fantastic effort by all the drivers right now. Such a absolutely stellar performance by all the drivers right now. And I can't believe that Homer's actually going to get points. Fraser's taking the fastest lap away from all the point finishing drivers, so no one will get the fastest lap. So we're going to start rounding off there. So we're going to say well done to our top 3 drivers. LH for his first win within his first race. Not human. For an absolutely stellar battle, trying to get back. Sting did absolutely fantastic the whole third. Monica's unfortunate, dropping out of the top 3, which is not really fair, but it's the way it is with motor races. Sometimes touching Josh Race's teammate, another stellar performance again from Dutchy. So we're just ending off there. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much to everybody who joined me. Game change driver day is Scotty Harris. You know what? No. I don't think I can give it to Scotty Harris. You've got it because of positions, but we had a few drivers who dropped out. I'm actually going to give it to LH. Coming in here, first race, first win. Boom. Absolutely fantastic. But give a shout out to Not Human. Let's have a look. So Dutch race started in 11th and got himself up to 5th. Scotty Harris started in 13th, got himself into 7th. And Dixie Anthony got himself. So Dutch race, Scotty, Dixie Anthony and Dixie Howard all gained the same amount of positions for their drivers. So, let's have a look. You know, let's give it to Dutch and McDutch face. He's had a really good race. He deserves having driver of the day from the commentator side. Yeah, guys, thanks very much for taking part in the race today. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Hopefully LH will carry on his triumphant run, and we might actually see a swing in momentum in the standings. So guys, yeah, until next time, good night.